Good afternoon and Salam Sejahtera. I'm Kevin Francis on Prime at 1. In the headlines, Nigerian variant B1.525 mutations do not affect ability to detect, trace infected persons. And almost 3 million people registered for COVID-19 vaccination. But first, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin performed the Umrah in Makkah on Saturday. His wife, Puan Sri Noraini Abdul Rahman, also performed the Umrah and they completed the ritual at about 10 p.m. local time Saturday. The Prime Minister was also given the opportunity to enter the Kaaba. Tan Sri Muhyiddin, who is on a 4-day official visit to Saudi Arabia beginning yesterday, performed the Umrah at the invitation of the Saudi Arabian King and custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. The Nigerian variant B1.525 of COVID-19 has important mutations in the spike protein, but they do not affect the ability to detect or trace a person infected with the variant. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said this is because existing PCR kits use multiple targets to detect variants, even though that person can be asymptomatic. In a statement, he noted currently no data suggests this variant is of more virulence or causes increased fatality. From laboratory study reports, Dr. Noor Hisham said mutation E484K, which was also seen in other variants, including the South African B1.351 and Brazilian P.1 variants, had been associated with some level of resistance to neutralizing antibodies which were needed to confer protection. The resistance means a possible reduction in the effectiveness of natural immunity or vaccine-derived immunity against this mutation. Meanwhile, in a tweet, Dr. Noor Hisham said 2,990,577 individuals have registered themselves in the My Sejahtera application to receive the COVID-19 vaccine as of 8 a.m. today. He said since the registration for the COVID-19 vaccination under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program opened on February 24th, Selangor recorded the highest number of registered individuals at 991,181. This followed by Johor with 335,537 individuals, Kuala Lumpur 292,983 and Sarawak 240,630. Dr. Noor Hisham also said 127,608 people have received the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine nationwide as of March 6th. Of that total, Sarawak recorded the highest number of recipients at 18,034, followed by Pahang 13,830, Selangor 11,982 and Kuala Lumpur with 11,266. The decision of a family to hold a Tahlil event with quite a large number of attendees without complying with the standard operating procedures were among the causes of the increase in the number of new COVID-19 cases in Terengganu Saturday. State Health Director Dr. Nur Azmi Yunus said the cases involved several families from Johor, Selangor, Kuala Lumpur and Penang who returned to Terengganu for a grandfather's funeral. In a Facebook post, Dr. Nur Azmi said 45 family members attended the event and 15 of them were tested positive for COVID-19. He added the increase in the number of COVID-19 cases due to interstate travel and family gathering was not the first incident it had happened before in Besut. He advised the public to learn the lesson from these incidents and avoid attending mass gatherings. The State Health Department recorded 22 new cases of COVID-19 on Saturday, bringing the total active cases in Terengganu to 110. German pharmaceutical giant Merck and a US partner reported promising results in trials of a drug administered orally to fight COVID-19, saying it helps reduce patients' viral load. In January, Merck halted work on 2 COVID vaccine candidates but has pressed on with research into 2 products to treat the disease, including a pill-based one called Molnupiravir, which it has developed with Ridgeback Biotherapeutics. Merck said at a meeting with infectious disease experts that this drug caused a significant drop in patients' viral load after 5 days of treatment with it. The US Senate voted to approve a $1.9 trillion relief package, capping hours of debate, frenzied negotiations, and a marathon overnight voting session. Passed by 50 votes to 49 in a party line vote, the sweeping legislation now heads back to the Democratic majority House of Representatives, where it is expected to be adopted barring a last-minute setback. Even without the progressive priority of a minimum wage increase to $15 an hour, the stimulus bill marks a victory for Biden's Democrats as they put their stamp on the recovery from a pandemic that killed over 500,000 in the United States and hobbled its economy. In an address from the White House after the plan was approved along strict party lines, President Joe Biden called it a giant step towards reviving the pandemic-stricken American economy.
This plan puts us on a path to beating the virus. This plan gives those families who are struggling the most the help and the breathing room they need to get through this moment. This plan gives small businesses in this country a fighting chance to survive. And one more thing, this plan is historic. Taken all together, this plan is going to make it possible to cut child poverty in half.
Still ahead, trial to begin for U.S. policeman charged with George Floyd's death. MCA President Dato Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong stated the party will remain with Barisan Nasional in the 15th general election. He said since its establishment, MCA had faced various hurdles and challenges and gone through thick and thin together with BN. In his opening address at the 67th MCA General Assembly in Kuala Lumpur, he said celebrating cultural diversity, moderation and an inclusive nature as instilled and practiced by BN is in line with MCA's struggle. Therefore, in the coming GE15, MCA will continue to be together with BN to ensure victory for BN. 9 months after George Floyd's death laid bare the racial wounds in the United States, the white policeman charged with murdering the 46-year-old black man is going on trial. Jury selection begins in Minneapolis on Monday in the case against Derek Chauvin, who was filmed with his knee on Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes as the handcuffed man struggled to breathe. The shocking footage of Floyd's May 25th death sparked a wave of Black Lives Matter protests against police brutality and racial injustice across the United States and in capitals around the world. Ben Crump, a lawyer representing the Floyd family, told reporters the family is getting ready for a marathon trial. Crump also said he was expecting the defense team to attack Floyd's character.
They're going to try to do this to distract us from what we see on the video. They're going to call George everything but a child of God and try to make you forget what you see on that video. But you heard who George Floyd was. And so we're getting ready for whatever and whensoever may come.
It will take a unanimous verdict by the 12 members of the jury to put Chauvin behind bars for what could potentially be a long prison sentence. Now, after a week of digs at Britain's royal family, millions of people will tune in to CBS to find out just how much will Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reveal in their hotly anticipated interview with Oprah Winfrey. If that trickle of excerpts is any indication, they have scores to settle with Buckingham Palace a bit over a year after giving up frontline duties as royals and moving to Southern California. The couple have often said they left Britain to get away from the country's media, but they also made it known they were unhappy as royals. On to sports now, and Novak Djokovic will on Monday set a new landmark of 311 weeks as world number one, surpassing Roger Federer, whose hold on a record equaling 20 Grand Slam titles is now firmly in the Serb's sights. The 33-year-old Djokovic, already the winner of 18 majors, has time on his side with Federer turning 40 in August. He's also a year younger than Rafael Nadal, who also has 20 majors. Djokovic reclaimed the top ranking from Nadal in February 2020 and finished as year-end number one for the 6th time, tying the mark set by Pete Sampras. He is currently in his 5th different spell atop the rankings. In football, Leicester moved into second in the Premier League by coming from behind to beat Brighton 2-1. Leicester looked lifeless for the first 45 minutes without James Maddison and Harvey Barnes, but they bounced back after the break for a first win in 4 games. Leicester now have a 7-point cushion over 5th place Everton as they aim to not make the same mistake as last season when they crashed out of the top 4 at the business end of the campaign. Meanwhile, Arsenal's top 4 chances now look forlorn after being held 1-1 by Burnley. Arsenal's best hope of a return to the Champions League for the first time in 5 years now lies in winning the Europa League after letting 2 more points slip away at Turf Moor. Mikel Arteta's men remain in 10th, 9 points adrift of the top 4, and with that gap certain to grow on Sunday when 4th place 5th as Chelsea take on Everton. And that was the news from Wisma Berita in Angkasa Puri, Kuala Lumpur, prepared by KARMILA BADRI. And do keep in mind the fight against COVID-19 is far from over, so please continue to follow the health SOPs that are still in place. Thanks for your company and have a pleasant Sunday afternoon. Salam Sejahtera.